Sorry, you came, you didn't know. There was a whole shebang about wasps here. It was amazing. Just a little correction I want to make, all right? I don't want to insult your wasp stories, but wasps are not bees. I just want to make that sure because you guys call them bees. They're not bees. In fact, scientifically, they're not even in the same family. All right? So, come on. Seriously? Right now? It's like, you know, when you give a sermon and there's a lawnmower, they have to do it right when you talk. It's like crazy. We used to have a workshop for at UTS or like some places for GPA. Exactly during my lecture, the lawnmower will be mowing right under the window. It was like, are you serious? It would be Sunday too. Like, you guys work on Sundays? That's crazy. All right. And you're happy true day of all things. It's an awesome day. Anybody knows what day it was proclaimed?
What year?
Yes, day and year. 67? That's right, May 1st, 1963.
Oh.
Do you know, was it third holiday, first holiday, fourth holiday, third holiday to be proclaimed? Third? Actually, it was a second holiday. After True Parents, it was a second holiday to be proclaimed. So that's how important this holiday is. You know, True Father and True Mother are two very different people, right? Characters are different. The way True Father led us is different from the way True Mother led us. But there's one common thing, right, about them both, is that they both obsessed with nature, right? True Father loved nature a lot, and True Mother loves nature a lot. She quotes, you know, she probably, you know, well, she's not now, but used to watch a lot of documentaries about nature. Why is it so? Why this holiday is so important? Why True Father proclaimed this holiday as a second, one of the most important, it's the biggest, one of the biggest holidays in our movement? Any ideas? Represents God's creation. One of the significances of this holiday is reclaiming what? Sovereignty and ownership over God's creation. Because creation, according to principle, was invaded by Satan, right? Why was it so important to reclaim creation? The reason it was so important to reclaim creation because this world is not just a space that we live in, right? It's not just like a random space. If you think about the way science going these days, about minimizing value of human life, right? And I guess maybe it's warranted. There's some spiritual influence maybe that people feel that we are fallen and we're not truly dominating creation. And so people would exalt creation and demote human being. You notice that sometimes? That people actually would say we are the virus. People are the virus and the earth would be better without us, right? It's very interesting thinking, of course, but it comes from really not understanding the relationship between human beings and creation and God's heart. What size do you think equivalent of a human being to planet Earth? If you would find equivalent size to something in the world, the human being, how small are we? Actually, we're a size of bacteria. Yeah, size of if you look at your hand, how many bacteria do you see? None, right? You would need a microscope to do it, right? So we are actually a size of bacteria. If you would zoom out and look at the Earth, we're basically invisible. Well, we are invisible. You can't see us from space. Is Earth huge? Relatively, right? Beautiful, yeah, it's huge. How many Earths can you fit inside of the sun? You can fit exactly 1 million Earths inside of the sun. So that puts in perspective how small are we, right? But do you know there are stars? Yeah. That you can fit million suns in one star? That's it's like, yeah. So you can, size in the universe is very relative, right? And then our galaxy is 100,000 light years across. Means it takes light 100,000 years to travel across one galaxy. Do you know how many galaxies are there in the universe? Actually, well, we don't know, but in the scientists, astronomers can, yes, many. In the visible universe, there is several trillion galaxies. So when you zoom out, we are, science say, we are less than bacteria. We are totally insignificant, right? Like that's what actual science says. But that kind of view really comes from not understanding the heart of God and the design for which God created the universe. Actually, the bigger the universe, the more awesome we are. The more significant, that's how I see it, the more significant we are. So do you want this to be a long sermon or short? Because burgers are, because I can go on like for short, long, short. Oh, with the Spirit. Okay, I'll try to make it short. My short, which is, okay, so, sorry, I just caught myself. I have to catch myself, right? God is very close to us, and understanding of God's heart behind this matter is important. And I think true parents understood God's heart more than anybody else behind the creation. Why? Because God is not so much different from us in our heart, right? We feel the way God would feel. God will feel the way we would feel. If there are two parents who want to have a child and they prepared the room, right? Decorated it, even bought a house for that child, just to have a child in that house. Imagine that child at birth dies. How do parents feel? All the years of preparation, every time you see that house, every time you see that room that meant for that child, how do parents feel? Any answer? Heartbroken, right? In fact, what do you want to do with that room and that house? You want to either run away or you want to destroy it, right? I mean, that's the heart of every, like if loved one dies that you shared an environment with, like a house or a place, you don't want to go to that place anymore. Like, sometimes it's too painful to go. So true parents understood God's heart behind the creation was supposed to be created for who? For us. But more deeply than that is, for God is not just God created creation for us. He created creation in whose image? No, actually our image. Our image. Everything we see around us resembles us. True Father said once, anyway, science say that the universe is 13.6 billion years old. Billion with a B, okay? Do you know what billion is? Anybody knows the difference between a million and billion? No? Okay, how many days will it take you to count from one? Just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. From 1 to million. How many days? It takes 11 days. That's it. How many days it will take you to count from 1 to a billion?
A year.
He knows. 36 years.
36 years. And that is a difference between a billion and a million. Yeah, well, he's my son, so, he knows.
He knows.
I know all these God-loving facts, right? So 13.6 billion. I mean, they deduce that. I'm not going to go into how they deduce that number, okay? If you want to come to my astronomy class, welcome. Nonetheless, that's a lot of time. But your father said, when you build something, does it take longer to plan something or build it? To lay a foundation or build it? Which one do you think takes longer? Plan. If you want something that really, really good, really, really works, and flawless, you want to plan very well. So God spent 13.6 billion years creating it, but probably triple the number to plan it, to think about it, to invest, right? And then the whole universe is created in our image. Right? So God had to reverse it, right? Everything we see around us, Father talked about it. The rivers, the water is like our veins. The trees are like lungs, right? Absorbing everything. So when human being fell, when Adam and Eve fell, when God looked at the nature, how did God feel? After unimaginable time spent in creating that, what do you think? Painful or not? Very painful. Unbearable. Could not look. The impulse was, I remember once while I speech, the impulse was to remove the creation, destroy everything. Of course, God could not do it because God is God. God is love. God could not destroy creation. So it was absolute goal for two parents to do what? To bring joy to God by first declaring two parents, right? First ever on the planet Earth, two parents appeared in 1960, right? Then next is we want to bring all the creation. When God looks at the creation, God feels joy because creation for the first time is under the dominion of God and people, right? So it's also a transfer of stewardship. It's a transfer of how we, wow. There's an army going up north. Huh? Woohoo! Hot Sunday today. Speedboats. So, this holiday is really a holiday to bring joy to God, to experience God through natural world. And everybody feels God through nature, right? Usually. Everyone try to kind of go into the natural world. Some people do like city. If you grew up in the city, if you were born there and raised, like I have a neighbor, he from New York City. He says I would not be able to live, but he still bought a house next to my house, right, into the nature. We all go and recharge. Why? Because it's something that God made. Cities are man-made, right? Made by not so creative fallen human beings. It's concrete, glass, and asphalt, which basically just drains energy most of the time. And I'm sorry, if you're a city lover, you know what else city does? It produces waste. It takes things out and gives nothing out, like significant. Honestly, it just poops out waste. I mean, that's, So I believe in an ideal world, we would not live in the big cities. We would live in smaller communities in the natural world, right? So natural world can teach us a lot, right? And I can go with the lessons over and over, but since you guys unanimously declared I need to give a short message, I will only share about 20 things. No, I'm just kidding. I will only share maybe a couple things, right? That nature really brings to my heart, I just want to first maybe read something from Cheon Sang-gyeong, Everybody knows what Chansangang is, right? Right here. That's the book. And there's a book I really advise all of you to read. It's book 6. It's called True Creation. It goes like this. In the beginning, Adam and Eve, born as God's children, were meant to gradually grow in the realm of God's protection. As their intellect developed, they would have come to realize why God created all things. And God would have educated them through the created world. The created world, where everything is in motion, provided resources for the education of Adam and Eve, who were our original ancestors. And it was a textbook teaching them how to love. Right? That's it. And live. The world was a model and museum showing them how to lead an ideal life. By observing all things around them as they grew, they would naturally have learned how to relate to each other in love. Whether they looked at the insect world or the world of higher animals, they were meant to discover that these living things are made in interacting pairs in order to do things for each other, call to each other, and love each other. Even though Adam and Eve were immature, by looking around them, they would have learned the principles of the world as their intellectual capacity developed. As they grew toward maturity, they would have come to sense the reality of love. On coming to know love, they would have mastered everything. So the natural world was created for us to learn how to love each other, how to relate with each other, and how to experience God. So I always tell that nature created in a very, how would I say, neutral way. It's not here to kill you, and it's not here to help you, right? Nature helps you to, number one lesson for me, not number one, but one of the lessons is acceptance. The more you fight it, like heat. Today is going to be hot, right? And everybody likes to sit under this tree. Roland and I just came off the crazy job we did for somebody. We're moving their house, and it was like, I don't know, in Fahrenheit, Celsius was like 32 degrees, right? And then it's like you're fighting through the heat. But I remember it was like a couple times I almost collapsed. And then at some point, you just accept, right? You accept and you stop fighting it. And when you relax, somehow I found a second wind, right? You find a second wind. Same with cold. Your body is designed to shiver, right? To warm yourself up. But if you accept and you relax, you actually feel less cold. You'll freeze sooner to death, but I'm just kidding. No. but joke. It's important to accept things in life. Everybody here also are people of seasons, right? You like seasons? Anybody like seasons? Everybody likes to live in the same season. Like California has one season, actually 2 seasons, hot and hotter, right? That's why people in California don't understand God's heart very well, right? I don't know. I love seasons, right? Seasons change, and that's the beauty of nature. It changes, right? And then who has a favorite season? Or you like all the seasons? What's a shout out? What's a favorite season?
Spring.
Spring. I knew it. Spring. Fall. Just don't fall. Fall. Okay. Winter. I love winter and spring, right? And sometimes, like, we feel like I want to stay in my season, right? In that one season, because it's my favorite season. But if we have always the same thing, it becomes hard to appreciate it, correct? If it's like always you eating, like what's a favorite food? I don't know. Pizza, right? Gosh, we're not friends, yeah. Sometimes I tell my kids, if I only had fish for the rest of my life, I would just eat fish. But I kind of doubt it sometimes. You know, you just get tired of eating your favorite food. Sometimes you need a break, right? So if there's always the same thing, it's very hard to appreciate it. So changing of seasons are very, very important for us because it teaches us a very important lesson. Do you know what lesson it is? No? What lesson is it? Anybody? You want me to reveal the lesson?
Be adaptable.
Adaptable. I guess personally I feel this is one of the most important lessons, right? Because I'll get to it. Because all of our lives in this beautiful world are focused on one thing and one thing only. Our life, physical life, at some point, what will happen to it? Huh? It ends. The research being done, 100% of all human beings die. It's crazy, right? That's the research so far, right? And then we all living this beautiful world, no matter what you like, no matter how much beauty you experience, we all at some point are going to transition into the next world. But we're not just transitioning into the next world. What is that world? What is this world preparing us once we transition for?
Spirit world.
Well, spirit world, but a lot of people transition to spirit world. They don't end up in such a good place, right? Or everybody ends up in a good place.
No.
Eventually, that's why we're having this service, right? So we all end up in a good place, even me. No matter how much love we experience on earth, the final experience of love is going to be when we, for the first time in our life, for that moment, when our spirit touches what? Real God's love in spirit world. For the first time, we'll actually experience God's love. Doesn't mean we cannot touch it here. We can. But purely in spirit, when you're in spirit world, the only way is to shed your body and live with God. If we forget, experience love here on earth, when you come to spirit, when I come to spirit world, that love of God will be very alien to me, uncomfortable. In fact, that's why many people run from it. You heard me making example of a refrigerator rights, right? Do you know refrigerator rights? When you come into someone's home, right? If you know them very well, you can just go into their fridge, right? Right? I call it refrigerator rights. Like my kids can go in the fridge anytime. But if I come to Dr. Wilson's house, I cannot just go into his fridge. It's disrespectful, right? Why? Because like we still have some distance between. He's a doctor. He doesn't know me. I don't know him very. I know of him. I know him, but we're not that bonded. It's like being like dressed really poorly. You're barging in. You're barging in into like a banquet, right? And you like dress poorly. It's like coming into spirit world and then you don't have refrigerator rights. Or you're barging in into a banquet and you feel out of place, right? So what do? People don't even kick you out. They're like, hey, welcome, but you feel weird. I don't belong here. So you yourself go out into the kitchen, right? Where smell comes and then even in the kitchen you feel like, I can't even cook. Then you go in the back, right? Then eventually you go in the outhouse and you sit in an outhouse like, oh, that's good. At least nobody sees me. Right? Huh? Yeah, well, maybe if you have a clothes, right?
Hopefully you're the same size.
But that's like a places in spirit world where people congregate themselves because they're so detached from God's love. They feel uncomfortable. They cannot connect to God, that kind of love, because I've never experienced that. It's so scary. I don't deserve it. So when we enjoy 4 seasons, when we enjoy things in our life, friends come, and sometimes your childhood friends, you're lucky if you have your childhood friends still, but most people, once they get married, the only friend becomes their wife, right? And then the nagging, I'm just sorry. No, right?
No, we're good in that.
Yeah. Or the only friend, your nagging husband, right? Or your lazy husband becomes the only body you talk to. That happens many times. So our whole life consists of important moments. They are moments of meeting, and they are moments of parting. Moments of meeting and parting. And they're painful. They're very joyful when you meet, but they're very painful when you part. But all that is a preparation of our heart for final parting and one final what? Meeting. Right? So again, nature can teach us an amazing thing. Seasons come and seasons go. No matter how favorite, no matter how beautiful the weather is, you have to let that go. The lesson is learning to let go. Nature really can teach you amazing things. Again, I can teach you 100, but one of the most important things is letting go. Letting go of things that we so attached to. Letting go of sometimes even relationships on this earth. Eventually we're going to reconnect in the spirit world. But God is training us to eventually, for one final meeting, which is meeting in love with God. Meeting together in love with God. And nature can teach us incredible things about that. Right? So, I was telling Roland the other day, depressing news about nature. Right? He said you should start sermon with that and then end it. Right? So it's like, the bad news is, guys, no matter how beautiful all this, that's what science says, okay? This is beautiful creation. In 1 billion years, the sun will run out of its fuel. Right?
36 million.
Yeah. So in 1 billion years, the sun runs out of its fuel. And then our sun is small enough, it's not going to explode into supernova, but it's going to expand. It's going to closer to the earth. And before that happens, all the water on earth will evaporate. And then before that happens, we all basically just die, right? That's a depressing news, right? From the scientific world, right? I don't know. Personally, I think it's not gonna happen, but 1 billion years is really a long time, all right? Hopefully by then we regain our stewardship of a natural world, and spirit world will give us incredible knowledge how to build spaceships and go to a different worlds, right? We only have 1 billion years left, so we better hurry up, chop, right? To restore the world, okay? We talk about witnessing, so, you know, there is energy in this universe that God gave us. It's not nuclear energy, it's not, you know, gasoline, to travel between stars, right? Eventually we can populate the universe. We can meet our alien friends, whatever, right? So, right? But on a shorter term, when we stand in front of God, right? Sometimes we often think about myself as a sinful individual. And then, I don't know, do you guys sometimes imagine a moment standing in front of Heavenly Parent on that day when you arrive to spirit world, that moment you departed your body and you stand in front of God? Can you look into His eyes, or your head will be down? It's hard to say, right? But it's good to imagine. Will my head be up looking at my God, my parent, or my head will be down in shame and blaming myself? And what is God going to tell you? Tolik, I know your sins. I dealt with them. It's okay. I have one question. Have you visited a beautiful place, the Grand Canyon I made for you? Have you been to all the beautiful oceans? Have you climbed Everest? Have you seen this insect? All these insects and jungles that I've made for you, all these snakes. I've created valleys and rivers and jungles and lakes and oceans and parts that I made just for you. When I was creating, I was thinking specifically about you. I was not thinking about how painful it's going to be for you to stand in front of me. I was not thinking about how sinful you are. But I made all these things for you so you can enjoy my love. So when you come, we can share together. What did you see? But what did you do in your life? You worked every day. You were thinking about how other people think about you. You were trying to pay your bills. You spent time counting paper with numbers on it and president pictures, and thought if there's Benjamin Franklin on it, that's a good day, right? What? So of course, I'm not saying we shouldn't work and we shouldn't have money, but sometimes the priority, what are we spending our lives on? Have we traveled enough? Have we met people we don't like? It's good to meet people we don't like. No, I mean, I know your husband you don't like, but no, I'm just kidding. You like your husband. I like your husband. Have we visited to a places where we meet different cultures that are not like us? Have we embraced them and loved them? This is what life is all about. That's why God created the natural world for us to experience. And when we one day reunite with Him, we have stories to tell. We have love to share. We have fullness of heart to come to that place and embrace that place. Spirit world. Yeah? What do you think? Or not really? Agree, disagree? Your life is not over, no matter how old you think you are. Right? We can all still enjoy the beauty of the world we're in. Right? And enjoy the beautiful things that are around us, that God created us. Quite often, when I was in adventure, just take people out, or even on my property, right? Another thing that nature can teach us is patience. Right? Anybody ever been to Adirondacks up north? There's a state park there, right? Or if you've been to Alaska, or if you've been to any national park, or even, go into untrodden paths somewhere in the woods, right? You go in there and you kind of, to our eyes, everything just looks the same. Trees, grass. And then sometimes out there in the wilderness, we would just do bushwhacking. You know what bushwhacking is, right? You get off the trail and you just go through the woods without no trail. We just do it, right? It's to introduce a little bit more challenge to the already pretty challenging situation, right? And as I go, I remember Father's words came into my mind. I was going through the woods, and then there's flower just kind of sticking out there, and it's kind of waving in the wind in the woods. Or it's like, it's a very beautiful flower. Well, I don't say it's beautiful, it's kind of weird. It's called a ghost flower. It's transparent, right? And it stands there kind of quietly, like in the wind, kind of just like, and it's like, I'm thinking, because we're in the woods, like in a bush, there's no trail. Most likely, I am the first human being who sees that thing. You know what came through my mind? That flower didn't just appear there when I was walking. Do you know that flower had a lot of ancestors? Every year, that flower came out, the parents of that flower came out, dropped the seed, came out, dropped the seed for one thing only, Do you know for what? For me to eventually come, look at it, and it's like, wow, so pretty. Millions of years, dying, born, dying, born, dying, born. I, Russian dude in America. Wow, so beautiful. Finally, that flower goes. The purpose of all my ancestors here is fulfilled because God's Son saw me, acknowledged me. So when I hike in the woods, this is my favorite thing to do. I touch trees, I touch grass, because they all long for somebody to touch them. They've been there for millions of years. Born, die, born, die. It's like one of the deepest realizations I realize how patient nature is, waiting for our love, waiting for our recognition. Right? So we need to be mindful, right? When we live through our lives, some things are born for many, many generations before they arrive, and you see them on the table and you enjoy that fruit. There has to be so many generations of things that are died and born just for my sake to acknowledge it. But what do I do most of the time? I don't recognize it. Tree is just a tree. Blade of grass is just a blade of grass. Flower is just a flower. But to me, I feel if I don't acknowledge, of course, you go crazy acknowledging everything, obviously. Don't go like that. Oh, every leaf. Okay. Don't do that, okay? But it's good to have a mind. Thank you, Heavenly Parent. You have made this specifically for me to see and touch. And when you have this kind of heart, when you arrive to the next world, you come to experience inseparable connection with Heavenly Parent. Because He spent so long to create everything for ourselves. Enjoy every food, enjoy every season. You know, if there was no seasons, there would be no life, right, on earth. Even in the places where there's not much seasons, right? What creates seasons? Do you know what creates seasons on earth? What? No, not rotation. Every planet rotates. Sometimes like that, like that. Earth also rotates.
We also tilt toward.
So what creates seasons is actually 23.5 degree tilt. What do you mean I saw that? I went to space, I saw it, yeah. I'm just kidding. Oh. Yeah, I mean I've known that for years because I took astronomy in my high school. Yeah. But so the tilt, right? 23 degrees. So in the winter we are tilted away from the sun. When Earth goes around the sun, we tilt it towards the sun. That's our summer right now. But did you know that our Earth is not naturally just tilted? If there was no one thing, it would wobble, the tilt would wobble, and then climate would change so much, there would be so much freeze and thaw, life would never emerge. What makes our tilt so stable? Moon. The moon. The moon actually keeps Earth always tilted 23.5 degrees. If it was tilted a little bit more towards the sun, would be too hot. Away would be too cold. But moon, that's what keeps us tilted always the same. For millions of years. For hundreds of millions of years. So think about the thought that went into creating perfect habitat for His children. God had to put into place to a point where right now scientists say the earth, the life on earth is not just impossible, it's a miracle that it happened. There's so many criteria that it's statistically impossible to happen. So it's a miracle that it's here. But it's not just a life, right, that we're enjoying. We're not just enjoying bacteria. We're not a bacteria, right? We are intelligent life. Life that can feel. And when we look at the sun, we can enjoy the sunset. We can enjoy the Hudson River. We can enjoy the foods that are around, right? So, let's be grateful, of course, but more importantly, let's prepare our hearts every day. Welcome changes. You know, this will pass, right? The fall will come, and we have to let the summer go. And then we welcome the fall. Then we let the fall go, and we welcome the winter. And we'll let the winter go, and we welcome the spring, right? And whatever changes in our life to happen, we have to learn to let go. Because one day, we don't know when it is. For every person is different. We'll have a right here clock above our heads, right? We don't know when. One day, we're going to part with our body, with this world, and we're going to transition to the next world, experience the deeper God's love. So, Day of All Things is a very important day because it is an expression of God's love, and we want to return that God's love and joy. That's it. Thank you, everyone. My wife is asking me to pray. Is that okay? I'll pray. Okay. Any questions about astronomy or life on Earth? Why dinosaurs existed? The purpose of mosquitoes?
We can do it.
I can answer all those questions because I was there with God when He was creating. Nah, just kidding. I wasn't. I'm just being arrogant here, being a stupid idiot. Huh? Yeah. Archangel was there with God, right? Okay, let's all for prayer. Dear beloved Heavenly Parent, thank you so very much for the air that we can freely breathe, for the water that we can drink, for beautiful sky. Thank you so much that our sky is not green or red or orange. It's a beautiful blue color. Thank you so much for such a beautiful combination of colors and beautiful combination of foods, and we can enjoy all that. You created us as the lords of creation. Our vocal cords are made in such a way that we can imitate virtually almost any sound. Our bodies are created in such a way to resemble all creation, but we can also rotate our arms in a circle. Most animals cannot do that. We have hands, we have eyes, we have hair, we have noses, mouths, and ears, and gosh, what a machine you made for us to enjoy this beautiful world. Heavenly Parent, we're so grateful that one day also this time is given to us to enjoy this, but also take responsibility to grow our hearts, to grow our love. And one day we're going to transition into a more beautiful spirit world where I heard things are so awesome that people, once they visit, they don't want to go back to earth. Heavenly Parent, of course, we're not in a hurry, but we really want to welcome if that time comes, but only if we prepared our hearts. Please help us to enjoy our lives here. Help us to develop our love and help us to love each other. Most importantly, love other human beings in the natural world. Please give us lessons to learn and help our hearts to be more patient. Please guide us and be with us and enjoy this beautiful food that we're going to share. And thank you so much for the team that created a beautiful offering table and found this beautiful park. I offer this report in the name of Anatoli, Kazakh Bliss family. Aju. Happy true day of all things, everybody.